Thursday Night Live with Barb. Trying to make sure my holder here, it seems like it's a little loose, but we're just going to go with it. So it's Thursday, October 16th, and if it's Thursday night, it's 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. And therefore, I am live on YouTube for my free stamping class that I do every Thursday. So I am super excited to be here. I've got some fun projects for you guys, and I don't think I have any great stories, but that's okay. I see a lot of you have jumped on here and are commenting. Let's see, what do we got for weather for people? We've got 68 in Colorado. We've got 80 in Kansas. Holy cow, that's really warm, Dolly. Got a lot of people jumping in here. Sharon and Suzanne and Bonnie and Loretta. Diana, Sonia, Deb, Shirley, all kinds of you girls. Hello, 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 wherever you might be. We are having a very rainy, blustery day here in Sheridan, Wyoming. It's been raining pretty much all day. Not really like super hard, but just consistently raining. And so that's not terrible. It's not a terrible thing. I'm glad it started today. Yesterday it was kind of cloudy and it was very, very like lightly sprinkling a few times. But I had my son's dog. He dropped him off last Thursday night. Right before I came live, he dropped the dog off. And then he was gone for the whole weekend, and he got back to pick him up. He got back Tuesday night, and then he came after work yesterday to get the dog. And so it was fun. The dog is fun. We had kind of a little routine going on, so it was working out pretty well. He loves being outside, even though it was only 40 degrees yesterday. He's like a German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix, so he's got a very thick coat of fur that is like almost waterproof in a sense. And so he just loves being out there. Every time I look out there and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for you, it's kind of cold, he's just laying out in the yard, just having a good old time. So I never did bring him in. We'd bring him in at night and he would sleep, in the room with us. But I didn't bring him in during the day and he did not seem to care. So there you go. We've got sunshine in Florida and Central California, which I guess I'm not super surprised about. Anything else that's in there? I don't think so. So yay, I'm so glad everyone is here. That's fun. Yeah, like I said, we just had the dog. Nothing else really exciting happened. Yeah, like I said, I always knock because our life is not very exciting, and I guess I'm happy about that. I'm very grateful about that. I don't need any drama or crazy things going on with any of my kids or with any of us. So I will take the calm that's around here. So that's good. Let's see. Patricia says her grandpup is a shepherd and she is the best. He's still pretty crazy. He's still pretty young. Like, he's only like a year and a half old. So I'm assuming that he's going to get a little less crazy. I mean, maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But he's fun. So he would be outside all day. I'd play with him frequently enough, and then we'd bring him in. And then I'd give him a little frosty paw. I think I've talked about those before. It's a little like frozen. It looks like ice cream, but it's not ice cream. It's for dogs. It even says on the box, not for humans. So it's like a little ice cream cup. And he loves the things. When I start going over to the freezer, he's like, oh, are you getting me a frosty paw? And then he just takes it and he just lays down on his blankie that I have out there for him while we're watching TV, and he just licks the cup clean, and then he's done with it. I thought in the beginning, he was going to like go crazy with the cup and like tear it up and stuff, but he never did. So it worked out really well. So if anybody is looking for a fun little treat for your dog, Frosty Paws, I get them at Walmart. They come 4 in a package. I think they're like $5.50, maybe something like that. I mean, they're not like super cheap, but I mean, I don't have the dog here every day, so it's not like I'm giving him a frosty paw every single day. I mean, I gave him a frosty paw every day he was here, but that's like a little special grandparents treat. You know what I'm saying? And Cheryl said you get them from Walmart, and I do. They have 2 different flavors. I think they have vanilla and peanut butter, and he really likes peanut butter because we have like an old bone that you could fill up. And so you can buy this squirt peanut butter in a can, almost like squirt cheese. It's made by Kong, the treat or the toy company. And so I just fill up that bone about halfway with the peanut butter and put it in the freezer. And then once a day, as he's outside, I'll give him the peanut butter filled bone. So he likes peanut butter. So that's why I chose the peanut butter flavored Frosty Paws. So I don't know if the vanilla, if he would like that. I mean, I'm assuming that he would. I can't imagine it would be terrible. So yeah. I am spoiling him, but you know what? I don't have any grandkids, so I can spoil the dog. I wish I had some grandkids. Well, I don't know if I do or not. I'm looking at my bangs and they're like bugging me for some reason. They're like splitting and I hate that. They actually need to be trimmed a little bit. I am a cut my own bangs person. Actually, I'm a cut my own hair person these days, but I've always been a cut my own bangs person. Um, and they're getting a little long. I do need to trim them up. So it is what it is. I'll get that done. All right. Like I said, there's not much going on around here to talk about. So I figure rather than just drone on about, nothing, even though Frosty Paws is basically droning on about nothing. We might as well get started. I mean, what time is it? 5:06. Well, I hate to start if there's people still trying to get on. I don't know. Bonnie said hers at Walmart, you get $5 for 4 of them, and that's about what I paid too. So, yeah, I think you can get them at other stores too, but most people have a Walmart where they live, so it's not like it's a specialty item that I got at a fancy store. You know what I mean? I just got them at Walmart. That's the only place we have to shop, so there you go. I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. Crystal says she's watching Nebraska tonight. I'll be watching the NFL tonight, Crystal, but I understand what you're saying. So it's the Steelers and the Bengals tonight. My daughter is a big Joe Burrow fan. She thinks he's super cute. Even though he's injured and not playing, she still is a Bengals fan. They're playing the Steelers. My husband will root for anybody who's playing the Steelers. It doesn't matter who's playing the Steelers. He's going to root for anybody but the Steelers. He does not like the Steelers at all. And I'm not exactly sure why. I think it might have something to do with them probably beating the Dallas Cowboys back in the day when there was some Super Bowls and whatever. Is the only thing I can probably say for sure. And I didn't used to be a Steelers fan, and the only reason that I kind of like the Steelers anymore is I like TJ Watt. I've been a big fan of the Watt brothers ever since JJ hit the league, and I just enjoy watching TJ now that the other two are retired. So that's the only reason I would want the Steelers to win, is because I like TJ and I would like him to win. I'd like him to win a Super Bowl at some point. So there you go. But not, well, they're going to beat the Cowboys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I totally get what you're saying, Kim. Go Steelers. Yeah, my husband works with a guy who's a diehard Steelers fan, terrible towel and everything. And they always give each other grief, whenever one of the teams plays. And of course, the Cowboys lose all the time. So my husband's been getting all the grief this season. So it's been kind of funny. But we'll be watching tonight, and I'll just be quietly in my own mind, hoping that the Steelers beat the Bengals, just because I want TJ to have some success. Well, not like he hasn't had success, but I'd love for him to win a Super Bowl. So there you go. Okay, well, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera, and we will get started with our Thursday night stamping. So, whoops, got to get it out of this one holder, get it into a different one. And there we go. Let me get my little leveler out so I can make sure that my phone is level, because I don't like it when it's not level. There we go. We got her switched. We are good to go. All right. My glasses and my hair clip. And then I really am ready to go. So what we've got going on here is we still have packets for our Modern Christmas online class. Everything is finalized. We're going to start cutting and shipping packets in the next 10 days or so. So you can get registered with the link in the description of this video. It's a super cute class. Not cute. It's an amazing class with this black and gold and white. And we are going to incorporate, maybe a couple of colors into a couple of the cards. But for the most part, they're going to stick with the black and white and gold theme, which is, of course, what the paper is. And, of course, the twine. And then, of course, we've got the loose gold sequins. So we've still got kits available. So if you need a kit or if you need the whole thing, you can register with the link in the description of this video. The third week of my 12 weeks of holidays ideas is going to go out tomorrow morning. I'm sending them out on Friday mornings. So week 3 will be going out tomorrow. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter list already, so if you already receive newsletters from me, I send a newsletter out maybe once a week. If you're already getting those, you will automatically get these holiday ideas as well. Hold on, I'm having a hot flash. Got to take this sweater off. Yeah, but if you're not subscribed to my newsletter and you're not getting any sort of newsletters from me, then there's a description, the link in the description of this video to register for my newsletter. And you can get my 12 weeks of holiday ideas. All right. As you guys are probably aware, Stampin' Up! Is running an amazing Join Stampin' Up! Special this month, and it goes through the end of the month through October 31st. And we've got two separate kits to you can choose from. We've got one that costs you $35 and one that costs you $99. With the $35 kit, you get $125 worth of product. With the $99 kit, you get $189 worth of product. Personally, I feel like this is the better deal. I feel like you should go ahead and join with the $35, and then the other $65 that you would have spent for this, you can then turn around and place your first order as a demonstrator and get your Stampin' Rewards and get your 20% discount also. And then you also can start working towards your quarterly minimum, which is $300 a quarter. So this to me is the better deal, unless you are trying to get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. If you don't have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and that's what you want to get in your kit, then you definitely want to choose this option, because you get more you get to spend more, I guess, on product with this kit. But otherwise, this I think is the better deal. But you can choose for yourself which way you want to go. I would love to have you join my team. We just had our monthly team meeting on Tuesday night. We had a great time. Welcomed a couple new people. We had a show and tell that we always do in our team meetings, and we saw some amazing projects from some of the gals. So it's super fun and I love it. What else? We've got weekly team training. Dina Kelly and I partner together for team training. So you can certainly be a part of that if you'd like. There's no pressure from me to do anything. If you just want to join Stampin' Up! With me and you just want to simply sit at home and buy your own products and make your own stuff, that's totally fine with me. I want you to do what you want to do with this. If you're trying to build a little bit of a business, I'm happy to help you. If you want to learn how to maybe offer one class a month or something like that, just to maybe help yourself get to your minimums, I can help you with that too. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. There's no pressure from me to do anything that you don't want to do, but I'm here if you need me to help you do some other things. We also have Stamp Happy Academy. Every member of our team, once they place their first order as a demonstrator, can get Stamp Happy Academy at a 75% discount. That's only $5 a month, which is an amazing deal because we have a lot of fantastic content on there. So I would love to welcome you to my team. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me, barb@barbstamps.com. You can text me, Facebook message me, whatever you want to do to get a hold of me. I would love to speak with you. All right, we still have some of the advent calendars left. I still have not opened mine. I need to do that. I really want to open it and see what's in there. I kind of have an idea what's in there, but I haven't actually seen it, in my own hands. So one of these days I'm going to start opening it, but I haven't yet. But we still have them available. If you're looking, you can actually put this in your kit if you want to, and get the advent calendar kit as part of your joining. You can also put the brand new online exclusives that are available for demonstrators only right now into your kit if you'd like. So there's lots of things you can do. I talk about this every week. If you order from me in my online store, if your minimum order is $20, you will earn Stampin' Rewards, and you will get my monthly tutorial. This is the Modern Christmas. These cards are not in the class that we are also doing. So these are completely separate cards. So if you signed up for the cards, you would get the cards. And then if you order from me, you'll get this. So they're totally separate. If you order $50, then you get this plus this. Oh, I forgot to say, if you order $35, you get the Stamp Happy Party. We have been having so much fun at these Stamp Happy Parties, you guys. The laughter is abundant, let me just tell you, and it is so much fun. So ordering from me has a lot of different perks, depending on how much you order. And again, we have another tutorial for the Modern Christmas. Totally separate cards. So these aren't the same as these, and they're not the same as my class to go. Okay, just want to let you know that. I do have my free download for Stampin' Blends that I talk about every so often. If you're interested in getting a little label for the end of your Stampin' Blends markers, I have these on my blog at barbstamps.com/shop, and they are free. All right, Stamp Happy Academy. If you're not a member of our team, it is only $20 a month for 3 live classes a month. Kelly just did hers last night. I did mine a week and a half ago, I think it was. Dina's is the end of the month. We also have our monthly Stamp Happy Party, and then we post our online class tutorials in there every month for you. So in case you already have all the supplies that we're doing in our online class, you just need the PDF. That's posted there too. We have, I think, over 250 classes posted on there right now. And we have gosh, I don't even know. Or maybe there's 250 live classes and 100 and maybe 70 of our online classes. There's a ton of content on there, you guys. Even old stamp sets that you might have, you could probably find a class on the Stamp Happy Academy website. Adhesive kits, I always have those for sale. If you're interested, there's a link in the description of this video. And I do have Christmas cards for sale. So if you're interested in getting some Christmas cards, maybe you don't want to make your own, maybe you want some ideas, some layouts to make your own, I have a link in the description to purchase packs of Christmas cards if you are interested. Okay, so I have a fun fold. I don't know exactly what this is called. I'm just calling it a pop-up fun fold. I don't know what exactly it's called. But it is a fold that we did on Stamp Happy Academy last year. So if you were a Stamp Happy Academy member last year, you may recognize this, or you may have forgotten all about it. So we're going to make a fun pop-up card today. And so I'm going to be using the More Than Autumn bundle. If you do not have this little bundle and you are interested in getting it, don't get it as a bundle, okay? Because a bundle gives you 10% off. Well, right now the dies are half off because they're on the last chance list. So you'd want to purchase the stamp set and the die sets individually to get the better deal, okay? The stamp set is not on the last chance list. It's just the die set. Why? I couldn't tell you. I'm not privy to that kind of information. My pay grade is not high enough. But it's a super cute set and it's great for this time of year. So I wanted to use this for my pop-up fold card. I'm also going to use the Stylish Shapes dies. I'm using the largest circle in this set. Just for some fun, I'm using our foam adhesive sheets, and I'll show you a little bit more about that when we get to that part in the card. But to start out with here, I'm going to pull out some of my bits and pieces and whatnot. Here is my card front. Here is a fun little layer. I've got a layer of white for the inside. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I have some scraps of white that I've already done some stamping on. So you can see I've stamped the cute little cup and I've stamped the pumpkins. And then I also need to stamp, I just now remembered, I need to stamp the foam that's on top of the cup. So that's my pieces and parts. So for your main card base, this is what I have. I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of early espresso cardstock. I then took a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of the Gathering Together Designer Series paper. I've got tons of fun patterns in here. For this one, I chose this fun plaid pattern. And that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I have glued that to the front of my card. Okay. So then you can see I have already taken my largest Stylish Shape circle and I attached it to the front of my whole card thing, my whole card, and I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now be mindful of how far down you put your, whatever you put here. If it's a square, if it's a rectangle, if it's a fun shape like a heart or a star or whatever, you want to have it, at least for my card, 3/4 of an inch down from the top. Okay. If you have it any higher than that, when you open up the card, you're going to see the mechanism that's going to do the pop-up, and it'll just look, to me, it looks funny. So, the way I'm doing the card, make sure it's at least 3/4 of an inch down. Mine is a little bit farther down. Mine's about maybe 7/8 or so. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to take this circle and you're just going to pop this right out of here. And I've got some Post-it tape that I use to keep things in place. Okay. So that's what we have. We have a first timer watching. Joan is a first time watcher. Awesome, Joan. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. And then this, I don't know, you could toss it. You could possibly use this for something. I'm not going to. But I've also taken this die and I have cut another piece of the Designer Series paper with the same circle because I want it to be the same size. I want it to fit right in there. And then I also cut a piece of cardstock. This is early espresso. And the only reason I did that was because this is a Designer Series paper piece. Sometimes you might just put a piece of cardstock in here and then you might not need this to be backed up together. Okay. This is just going to give a little more substance to the Designer Series paper because it's a little flimsier than a piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these two things together. So I'm just going to squirt some liquid glue on here. Actually, I think I'm going to get it a little closer to the edge. My glue is not cooperating. It's running empty. There. Okay, and I'm just going to glue these together. Obviously, they'll fit right together because they're cut with the same die. And you can see that that's going to go right in here like this, okay? So to decorate, what I'm going to put on this right here is, like I said, I've got my 2 cups, I've got 2 little pumpkins, and then I need to get 2 whipped creams. So let me just bring in my little whipped cream here, and we'll stamp 1, 2 little whipped creams. Now in the whipped cream, the stamp set comes with a cute little sprinkle, and so I'm going to stamp the sprinkle in both pumpkin pie and Cajun Craze. So I just kind of stamped them. I stamped the pumpkin pie kind of closer on this side and then closer on that side, just so that they don't look exactly the same. Wipe that off with my chamois and then spank it dry. And then I'm going to pick up my Cajun Craze here, and we're going to stamp some Cajun Craze sprinkles also. So now we have just a couple of colors of sprinkles here. Okay. I don't need that open anymore, because if I do, I'm going to stick my hand in it or something. So for my little cups, I'm just going to color the bands, and I'm going to start out with doing, this is a dark pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm just going to kind of go around this a little bit, just kind of making it a little smaller each time I go around there. And then I'm going to bring in my light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to color in the whole middle, and then I'm going to add the color all the way around the whole thing. So I'm trying to get this to blend so that the middle is a little lighter than the outside edge, but there isn't like a stark circle right in the middle where it's obvious. I'm just going to keep on coloring as I'm kind of breaking up the dark and kind of blending it in with the light. Okay. And so it's a little bit better. I don't know if the camera's even picking that up. There's a little bit lighter space in the middle, which honestly doesn't really matter all that much because I'm going to kind of cover it up with the pumpkin, but you can see it a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my Cajun Craze. So I'm going to come in and do the dark outline again. I'm going to kind of do the same thing that I just did with my pumpkin pie. There we go. And then we're going to bring in our light and do the same thing. And it's just like the more ink you put down, the more it blends together. Trying really hard not to go out of the lines because I am not a very patient colorer. I like it to be done quickly, but it's hard to do it quickly because you can't get any sort of nice shading and whatnot if you're hurrying through. So it is what it is. Okay, so I have both of my cups done. Then I'm going to bring in my pumpkins, and one of them I'm going to color with Cajun Craze. So this is my light, and I'm just going to do something like that. Then I'm going to bring in my dark and color in the other sections, just so we have a little contrast there. And then we're going to bring in our pumpkin pie. This is the dark. And then we'll bring in the light and we'll finish that off. Okay. I've also got a light petal pink, and I'm going to add just a little bit of detail to my whipped cream. So it's not going to be super obvious. I'm just kind of adding a little light just so that it's not quite so white. The cardstock here isn't, so it has just a little bit of maybe some shading going on there. So I've got all those pieces done. I've already die cut them. I've run everything through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine already. So here are my 2 cups. Here are, well, wait a minute, I have 3 whipped creams. I think these are my 2 whipped creams. There's my 2 whipped creams. And then I have 2 pumpkins. Okay, so these I can use for something else. We'll set those aside. All right, so I have that. So I'm going to go ahead and add my little pumpkins to my cups, but I'm going to do them opposite. And I'm going to add them with a mini dimensional. So press my fingernail into those. And this is the pumpkin pie. So we're going to put that on the Cajun Craze cup. Whoops, we kind of want it to be in the middle, Barb. So there we go. Take the paper backing off of our Cajun Craze pumpkin, and we're going to stick that right there. Okay. Then I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the top of my cup. I'm going to add my whipped cream. Okay. And then I'm going to bring my circle in, and I'm going to put one of my cups kind of over here. You don't want anything to go outside of the circle. So I can't put it on like this, where my whipped cream is outside of the circle. Everything has to be within the confines of the circle, or I should, whatever you have, your die cut hole here, whatever you're decorating with needs to be within the confines of your circle. Okay. So I'm going to stick one of my cups over here. And then my other cup, I thought I would just kind of stick it a little lower down here. Where is my whipped cream? Well, I happen to have a second or another one here, so we'll just pull that one in. Okay, so that one I'm going to add to my cup, and I'm going to put it a little lower than I did this one here, just so that they actually appear to be like, different sizes or something. I can see the top of my cup is showing behind my whipped cream, so I'm just going to snip that off. Okay, so we're going to attach these something like this. Such a cute set. I see a lot of you guys are saying you have it, and it's really cute. I really like it. I think it's fun. And using, different color combinations, depending on whether, you're doing fall or Christmas or whatever. It's really fun. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do dimensionals on this little guy. And like I said, it's going to be a little higher than our other cup, but again, we have to make sure that it stays within the circle. Okay. Oh, there's my whipped cream. Where was that? Okay. So now I've already done my inside piece mostly. So I did take another strip of that same designer series paper. This is like a 1/2 inch by 4. And then I added another little pumpkin. And then there's a cute little leaf die in this set. And I die cut that out of I never remember what it's called. I call it Early Espresso foil sheets, but Stampin' Up! Calls it Earth and Toned metallic specialty paper. To me, it's Early Espresso. So I've got a couple of those leaves right here with the Early Espresso foil. So I'm going to go ahead and add my inside to my card before I do anything with my pop-up mechanism, because you need to have this already in there, because the pop-up does have to attach to your inside layer. Okay, so I'm just trying to look around and make sure that it's all nice and put in there so it's even and everything. Okay, that looks good. So now for our little mechanism, we have 2 pieces, and I recommend using whatever color card base you have. So I have this piece here. This is 3 inches long by 1 1/4 inches wide. You can do various widths and lengths, but this is what I chose today. So I'm going to score this every 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to start at 3/4. Okay. And then we're going to go 1 1/2, because that's our next 3/4. And then finally, we're going to go 2 1/4. Okay. There we go. And then I also have a little piece that is 1 1/4 by 1 inch. And I'm going to score this at a 1/2 inch. So I'm using this side of my trimmer because that's easier for me. Okay. So now I have a 3/4 inch section and a 1/2 inch section, and I'm just going to fold that up so it's just like a little L. Okay. This piece here, we are going to take a little skosh off of each end. You're probably thinking, well, why did we make it 3 inches if we're going to do that? Because this just is easier than trying to figure out eighths of an inch, right? So now we have basically what we see are 4 little sections, and they look very similar. They're about 3/4 of an inch each. So we're going to fold this in half, okay? Then we're going to fold each side in. And the reason that we cut some off, let me go ahead and burnish this and I'll show you, is because I want the fold line in the middle, I want it exposed when these 2 side flaps come in, okay? If I hadn't cut any off, these 2 ends would either meet together or they might even just slightly overlap, and I don't want that. I want to have that other fold line exposed so that it does kind of fold up really nicely. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I can see that I didn't fold this perfectly, so I'm going to snip that off. Okay. So what we have is we've got this piece here. Like I said, it's got the fold line exposed. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put glue on both of these little flaps. Okay, does that make sense? We've got this little thing here. We've got these 2 flaps. And now I'm going to kind of pinch it closed with my fingers. And I'm going to lay it down on my card. I'm going to try to center it from side to side. And I've got a fold line here. And I'm going to line up this fold line with my fold line that's inside my card. Okay, so I'm just trying to center it as best I can. And then I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll pull it up to the camera as soon as I get it positioned properly. And so you can see that the fold line on my little, there we go, my little mechanism lines up perfectly with the fold line of my card. Okay, so then what happens is then the card folds closed. And then we have this little tab here that we're going to end up sticking our thing on. But if we stick it right on here, when the card opens, it's going to move with the card. So if we add this little guy, so we have it here, I'm going to put the glue on the back side of the largest section. I'm going to flatten that out again, and I'm going to center this in this area right here. Okay. So that's what we have now. So we have a little box basically in the center of the card, and then we have our little flapper up there. So now our little flapper is closed, and now I'm going to add glue to my little flapper piece here, and I'm going to add my circle. So I'm going to kind of hold that down. I'm going to kind of center my circle, and I'm going to put it on my little flapper piece. I'm going to press it down so that it gets stuck really well. And then I'm going to open this up. And then what I have is this little fun thing. How fun is that? So it's on the front, and then we open up the card, and it just kind of moves with the card. So you can kind of see how that's moving up and down on the inside of the card. It's free moving. It's not stuck or anything. Got a lot of bits that keep falling out of where I did my die cutting. So how fun is that? So now I need to finish off the inside, and I wanted to see where this was going to land so that I can add my other little pieces. So this fun set of dies has a lot of little words. We've got the word spice, I've got the word season, and then I have the word pumpkin. Now I die cut the word pumpkin. I used our two-tone cardstock because I have found that the Cajun Craze two-tone cardstock matches this paper much better than the actual cardstock does. So my two-tone is a little bit better match, so I went with my two-tone rather than my regular cardstock. And I did cut them with the adhesive backed sheets. So I was smart this time. A lot of times I don't, and then I have to use liquid glue, which isn't always a problem. Oh, wait, I want to do season first. So so I like to pinch my fingers together, my finger and my thumb, and then I just push my, take your pick tool in, and I can just get that right in between the two layers of cardstock and get that paper backing off. So I am going to stick season right here at the bottom. There we go. And I think I still have enough room for spice, so I'll bring my spice in here. So we've got spice and season on the inside. Okay, that should still work. Yep. And we're going to put pumpkin on the outside. Now, I originally did my pumpkin out of the same paper, but then I thought to myself, you know what? It might be kind of cool if it was like popped up. And then I remembered that we sell these foam adhesive sheets. And so you can take, it's like a giant dimensional, it's just like a solid sheet dimensional, basically is what it is. And so I just took the dimensional and I put my two-tone cardstock. I cut it so it was about the right size of my word. And then I peeled the paper backing off and I stuck my two-tone cardstock on there. Then I stuck my die on the top and I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine a few times, like back and forth, like 4 times, forwards, backwards, just to make sure that it got die cut all the way through. And then this is what I end up with. So I have a big giant dimensional with my two-tone cardstock on it, and then I can peel the paper backing off the back here and I can stick it down as a giant dimensional. But not that you can't see it, because you can, but then I started thinking, what if I die cut the foil sheet? And so that's what I decided to do. So because I was a ding dong and didn't put my adhesive sheet on that, I am just going to add a little bit of glue to this word, the top of it. So I'm going to cover up my two-tone cardstock and I'm going to cover it up with this foil. And since it's the same die cut, it should just go right on top of this perfectly. Everything should just line up really nicely. It looks like it is. And so now I have a foil sheet, which is a little more fun. So then I'm just going to peel the paper backing off, and this is all sticky. And I'm going to put the word pumpkin right here on the front of my card. And it's just going to be a giant dimensional. And then so it says pumpkin with that fun shiny, and then it says spice season on the inside. And then we have a little bit, and you have a little space so you could write a little message in there. You could even, like, if you wanted to glue a gift card underneath here, you totally could. And how fun is that? Super simple. I feel like this little mechanism, not that hard at all. And like I said, the reason you don't want your mechanism to be, or you want to put your circle about 3/4 of an inch below the fold line, is because the way the mechanism works, it's 3/4 of an inch. Each little section was 3/4 of an inch. It won't show through this hole when it's open. If you did it like with an inch or something like that, then it's going to pop up over this and you're going to be able to see it, which, I mean, I guess isn't the end of the world, but I'm kind of anal about stuff like that. And so that's why I did it like that. So hope you guys enjoy that. That's kind of a fun little fold. I could see myself doing that again. It was not difficult. The hardest part was deciding what, to put on my little circle here. The actual mechanism part of it was super simple. So I hope you guys liked that. Let me kind of clean up a little bit here. And I need to keep my card out so I can show you it a little later. I don't need my die. Let's see. Do we have anything in the comments? I don't need a strip on the bottom. Oh, just says she likes how I put little strips. I always do that. Well, I shouldn't say always. Most of the time, I try to put a little DSP strip in the inside of my cards because we always have those excess little strips. You know what I mean? And that's a great way to use them up so they're not just sitting in your package and you're just like, oh, what am I ever going to do with those little strips? So just adding one to the inside of your card is just a perfect way to just add some fun. So, all right. So my next project, I have not done a kit in a hot minute. And when we had the kit special here oh my gosh, is my lens filthy? Oh, I think it is. Hold on, you guys. This is terrible. I usually clean this off before I go live, and I don't think I did. Ugh, so the whole thing is probably all blurry. Oh, good grief. That's just my luck. Well, hopefully this is a little bit better now. We'll see. I haven't done kits in a hot minute. And when we had our kit special here, what was it, a couple weeks ago, I decided to get a couple new ones. So one of them that I got is called the Alpine Air kit, and it was on sale, and it still is for like $15. And it kind of looks a little more manly to me than a lot of the other kits. And I need some manly cards because I have some guys. I've got a lot of guy birthdays coming up at the end of the year here, and I need some guy birthday cards. And I don't, not that I don't enjoy making guy cards, it's just I enjoy more making pretty girly cards. so, but I thought this would be great, a great way for me to get some manly looking cards. So I opened up the kit. I kind of sorted things out a little bit. I'd like to get all my card bases folded. So I always fold all my card bases in half. I always fold all my envelopes, the flaps, so that everything, those kind of things are ready to go. Then I went ahead and punched out all of the die cut pieces that comes in the kit. So I can sort of set those out, sort them out, whatever you want to say. And then I am very terrible most of the time. Sometimes the kits are a little more complicated and I have to use the directions, but most of the time I'm able to look at the pictures on the front and figure out, what I need to do. Like for this card here, for instance, I would take the blue card base. So here's the blue card base. And then I would look at these pieces and parts that I have here and I would go, okay, what goes with this, And it looks like it's one of these larger pieces. So it looks like this one right here. It's got the lake and it's got the mountains and a little bit of the grass. And so that, and then it also has a white layer behind it, which looks to be this piece here. And so I normally just don't bother reading the directions unless I absolutely have to. So this is going to be a pretty simple card. I'm just going to stamp a sentiment right here. This particular kit comes with a stamp set that has thinking of you, hello friend, let yourself dream big, and happy birthday. Well, like I said, I need some birthday cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this stamp. And then this particular kit also comes with a block. So if you've never used anything with Stampin' Up, if you've never stamped and you don't have a block, then you get a block in this kit. It's not one of our regular blocks, but it's a block that does work. And then this particular kit comes with a Misty Moonlight spot. I typically don't use the spots. I just pull out my full-size ink pads. But of course, if you don't have a full-size ink pad and you need to use a spot, well, then it's there for you. So I'm going to ink up my Misty Moonlight here, and I'm just going to stamp my happy birthday right here in the lake. Try to make sure I don't get any ink on the, outside of this. And I'm just going to stamp that right there. And there we go. And I think this is like the perfect guy card. Now there are dimensionals in here somewhere. Yep, here we go. So I feel like this piece I would put down flat, and then I would add the other piece with the dimensionals. So they have this centered, it looks like. And then we have dimensionals put on that. So I'm going to just bring in some other dimensionals that I have that are almost used up. So this is I really think this is a fun kit, and it's so simple. I mean, and it might be too simple. Some of you might be going, yeah, I can't do a card that's simple. But, I figure a lot of the guys that I send these cards to, they don't care about, the stamping and everything on it. They just are happy to get a card from me. So there is a card done. So easy. Then let's pull in the green card. So here's our green card base. It looks again like we have one of the, this one might be actually two pieces together, and I think it is. So I think it's like this meadow and then the mountains. And it looks like they actually do fit together. How cool is that? Okay. I think, is that all it is? Is that right? Yeah, that's it. That's super simple. So I would go ahead and throw some dimensionals on here on both pieces. I think the hardest part of this particular card is just going to be getting them, lined up together so that they're, in the right spot. So I'm going to leave the dimensional backings on for the moment, and I'm just going to kind of wing it here. So I'm just kind of doing a dry fit. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to peel off the backings. And then I'm going to try to line this up with this. Like like that. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. Get the backings off, and then we're going to come down, and I guess you could actually, did they leave a space in between? They did. Okay, that's what needs to happen. There we go. There's a little space in between there. And then there's these little die cut circles that you just punch out. And I'm going to make this one a birthday card also. This one might not be quite as manly since it has like some flowers on it, but you know, some guys don't care. And like I said, some of the guys that I'm going to send cards to, they wouldn't even pay attention. There we go. Get our happy birthday. Oh, I kind of fudged that up a little bit. So we have two sides of our paper. So we're just going to go ahead and ink this up again. And try that. See if that worked any better. Yes, it did. And then it looks like they just kind of straddled the little break that we have there. And they put it about like so. And there we have it. Another card done. I mean, it's so simple. Now they do give you some little shiny gems. I don't know though on some of these cards I'm going to use them because like I said, I'm kind of trying to make cards for some of the guys that I need cards for. So for those, I'm not going to put the gems on. So let me bring in the last card here. So here's the last card. This one uses one of these green strips. And it uses one of these larger layers here. And it also uses one of these little banners. Like that. Now, obviously, my little happy birthday sentiment is kind of small. So because I am a stamper and I have lots of sentiments, I have another set here that has another happy birthday sentiment in it that's a little longer. This is called Simply Said. I'm sure a lot of you guys have that. It's been around for at least a year. And so I'm going to clean off this block. And then I'm going to use it for my new stamp here. So I'll just pick that up. And then I'm going to bring in my little thing here. I'm going to ink up my happy birthday. Okay. And we're going to stamp this, hopefully, on our little label here. There we go. And then this little label gets attached to this little thing here. Now they do give you, I think, where is my little package of stuff? I had a little package of stuff. Did this have twine in it? No. I thought it had little glue dots somewhere in the packages of things. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't matter. You could use dimensionals on it. You could use whatever you want. I'll go with dimensionals. Couple on here. Okay, and then we're just going to add this to this green strip. Try to center it as best I can. I think like so. And then I'm going to add glue to that. And we're just going to center this. Just super simple cards. And I really like them. And I think that the guys that I need to send cards to, I think will appreciate these. Just kind of set that right there. And there, I have already made 3 birthday cards in what, like 10 minutes? So I'm pretty excited about this. So if you don't have this kit and it looks good to you and you like it, like I said, it's on sale for like $15 until it's gone. It's on the last chance list. And I just think it makes some really fantastic looking cards. So there we go. Put all that stuff away. And I have one other little project for you guys. And it's something that I just saw today. I was like scrolling through, I don't remember if it was TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. I don't know. I was eating my lunch and I was just mindlessly scrolling. And I came across this fun little treat project. And so I had to try it. So it takes 2 4x12 pieces of paper. Whether you use cardstock or designer series paper doesn't make any difference. Obviously, designer series paper folds a little easier, whereas cardstock's going to be a little thicker. And so, it might be a little more difficult to use the cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and use this pattern out of our spooky Halloween, or no, that's not what it's called. Spooky Sweet designer series paper. And so, a lot of the patterns will work. Some of them are directional and they might not work so good, but this one here is going to work really well. So you take your paper, like I said, it's 4 by 12, and we're going to score these pieces at 4 and 8. So we're going to slide this into 4. Make sure I don't have any stamps over here that I'm going to get inky in my paper. Okay, so we're scoring it at 4 and 8. Okay, bring my other one in, we'll do the same thing. 4 and 8. Okay. Then, if you want to fold them, you can, or you don't have to. If it's easier for you to find your score line again, if you fold everything, then go ahead and fold the things. Sometimes it is for me. Sometimes with Designer Series paper, it's hard to see your score lines. So you're going to keep these together, and you're going to put them in your trimmer. You can see I have it angled this way. And I'm going to cut. So I'm going to put the points of the papers in my track, and I'm going to put my score line, fold line in the track also. Now, I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but I can. And I'm going to cut those 2 pieces off. So now I could use those for something else, like some scraps to die cut out of or whatever. I'm going to rotate this around, and I'm going to do that exact same thing again. So I'm putting my score line in the track, and I'm putting my point in the track. Okay. There we go. And we have these 2 little pieces of, and you could use these like this, you know, you could just put them in a card, on a card like that, put a little decoration on there, and that would work just really well. Okay, so this is what we have. Now, this is so incredibly simple, it's ridiculous. So you want to take one of the pieces, and then you want to put the other piece onto it like this. So you have what kind of looks like a pinwheel looking thing. Okay. So you might want to do your scoring here and folding of your sides and make sure that the edges line up and stuff. And you don't even have to glue this. That's what's crazy. Okay, so we're going to stick these things together just like that. Then you're going to bring in a treat. I'm going to try to use a Butterfinger. And I'm just going to start folding in the sides. So I'm going to fold this side in. Oh, wait a second. You actually want to do it upside down. You want to have the 2 different, if you want to have the 2 different patterns on the front. If you don't, then you can do the same. You can do it the same. All right, so we're going to stick our little treat in there. And we're going to start by, I'm going to rotate this because you want to start with a flap that's flat. I'm just going to fold that in, fold that up. Oh, wait a minute, that's not right. What the heck am I doing wrong? Something's wrong here. Let me think. Let me bring my other one out that I already made and see what I did here. Okay, so here's one that I already made. So how do I have this? So we have this like this. Okay, so you can see that the point has a flat side. My point has a flat side. Okay, then I'm going to stick this other one on, and I have a flat side. What if I wanted to use this paper? I guess I can't. Oh, I think I might have screwed the whole thing up. Well, it's still going to be cute. We're actually going to turn it over. So I still have, or no, I can't do that. I have to have it like that, and I have to have it like this. Oh, and here I thought I had it all figured out and it was going to be so cute and you guys were going to love it, and now I messed it all up. Well, it's still going to be cute. So I'm going to stick my piece in here. And you start by, we'll start by bringing the bottom. Is that right? This might be a bust. I mean, I hope it's not, but it might be. And then this has to fold over, and then you do that. So I think what happened is, I don't want it like that. I'm going to try to see if I can force it to work like this. Oh, I'm so mad that I just screwed this up. Why can't I do it like this? You know, like seriously, why does it matter? Oh, then it's not like a pinwheel. That's why. So it has to be like that because it has to be like a pinwheel. Okay. So what I should have done was I should have put these together like opposite. Does that make sense? when I cut the ends off, I should have had the two patterns not the same. I think when I cut mine, obviously I had the two patterns both like face up. I should have had one of them face up and the other one not face up. That's how I should have cut them. Because then when you lay it down, then your pieces, because like I said, you want it to look like a pinwheel and you want to have a straight edge here and a straight edge here. So I totally screwed that all up and now I'm really sad. I'm just really sad. Well, it is what it is. Fold that over, and then this gets tucked underneath. And it'll stay once you get your little decoration on there. So you can see with this one, it's not glued together, but I go up and over, oops, over, and tucked in. Man, I messed that all up and I was so excited. And then it just stays like that. It doesn't have to be glued or anything. And you could put another dimensional on that to keep it totally closed and then the person would rip it open when they got it. But like this one here, because I screwed it up, it doesn't have the pretty stuff on the outside. It has the kind of ugly on the outside. This is not working at all. Why is this not working? Can anybody help me here and tell me what I did wrong? So I obviously started with this one, and then I came up with this one, and then we came over with that one, and then this one tucked in on top of the piece of candy. Like that. It is a cute idea if it actually worked out, but I can't figure out why I can't flip it over. I mean, I should be able to flip it over and it's just going to be opposite, right? So if I flipped it over, I should be able to still do the bottom piece. Boy, I am just really sorry about this, you guys, because it really is a cute idea. Maybe you just keep folding it until it works, right? Because that would tuck in like that. Nope. I'm just convinced I can make this work. It has to work. That. Would it be that? No, I think it would have to be that. And then this would come down and tuck under here. But then this doesn't stay. Maybe that one has to tuck under that. Nope. This one tuck under this. Boy, I am really upset with myself, you guys. Oh, there. If you just keep messing around with it, it will eventually work. It might be the candy bar. It might be the candy bar because it's too fat. But it did work. I did get it to work. I just had to keep messing around with the flaps. But here's my thing on the top. Isn't that cute? So I did make it work. It just folds up a little differently than that one does. And then you would just stick this little thing on the top here. And then you can, again, if you want to make sure that it stays together, you just can put a dimensional on the other one and then it'll stay together and it's just a cute little treat with no glue really. So I guess it didn't matter. I was able to make it work, but if you want to have different colors like I did with this one, when you do the scoring and the cutting, you definitely want to have it the opposite papers. But yeah, it did work out because I really wanted some of this to be on the front because it's so stinking cute. So there it is. And I just thought it was a cute little thing. The person that I watched do it, did it with 2 solid pieces of cardstock, one of each color, 2 different colors. And so maybe that's part of my problem was I was trying so hard to have a certain thing on the front. You know what I mean? And if you just had the 2 pieces of cardstock, it wouldn't matter how it went together because, you know, both sides of the cardstock are the same color. So that was my bad, trying to whip it up with designer series paper rather than a cardstock. But how cute is that? And like I said, you could throw that into a kid's trick-or-treat bag. You could send it to, you know, your grandkids' classroom if you didn't have to make too many, or if you have a whole bunch of Halloween paper from other, you know, or you could use a piece of designer series paper and a piece of cardstock. You could do it like that. That would probably work. But yeah, I think that's, once I finally figured it out, and I think, like I said, you just have to keep folding it and finally it'll work is what we found out here. So here's my projects. We had these cute little Halloween pouches that were kind of a bust. this really fun kind of pop out card with a really simple card mechanism. And then we had our kit called Alpine Air, and we made very quick cards with that. So now I have some birthday cards for the guys that I have to send cards to coming up. So I'm pretty excited about that. So thanks you guys for watching me struggle with this little pouch. Got it figured out. I hope you guys have a great week. I will be back here next week. And if you need anything, you know how to contact me. You can email me, Facebook message me, text me. So thanks again, you guys. I appreciate you watching and I appreciate your support. Give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. And be sure to subscribe to my channel right down here if you are watching the replay. And all the links to everything I do is in the description of the video. And I will see you guys in a week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.